What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Playthrough Reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing Mass Effect 1. Now, Mass Effect, I played through the original trilogy back in 2012, and I haven't touched it until the Legendary Edition had come out. And when I did play it, I always considered the trilogy as one of my favorite games. I kind of lumped them all together, even though they are different. So it's been a while since I've played through Mass Effect 1, and this playthrough was fantastic. I had a blast from start all the way till finish. I mean, it basically rekindled my love for Mass Effect. That I always knew that I loved it, but it just brought back a lot of awesome memories experiencing it for the second time. I did make some different choices in this playthrough as I did in my original playthrough, and I actually forgot about a lot of things that had happened throughout the entire game. But before we get into that, if you enjoy watching me play through entire video game franchises and ranking them along the way, then I invite you over to my channel, Trezinator. Please hit that subscribe button, click the bell to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you like this video, it would mean a great deal to me if you could give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you want to watch me play through in real time, then head on over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/Trezinator. So Mass Effect 1 was released on November 20th, 2007 for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. It was directed by Casey Hudson and written by Drew Karpyshyn. Now, I played it on PC. As I mentioned, I played it for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I just completed it, and it brought back a lot of fantastic old memories, and I can't wait to dive into the rest of the series, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, and then even afterwards I'm going to play through Andromeda and put them all up against each other. So before I get into my thoughts on the story and my thoughts on the gameplay, let's take a look at the actual plot of Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect is set within the Milky Way galaxy in the year 2183, where interstellar travel is possible, and several alien races discovered mass transit devices called mass relays, left behind by an ancient alien race believed to be the Protheans. In the past 30 years before the game, the human race has joined an intergalactic community of alien races. The community has a governing body known as the Citadel Council. The races that belong to the council are the Asari, the Turians, the Salarians, and humans. You assume the role of Commander Shepard, a Systems Alliance Special Forces graduate who is given command of a prototype ship, the Normandy. Shepard and Systems Alliance Marine Kaidan Alenko are sent to human colony Eden Prime to retrieve an unearthed Prothean beacon. On the planet, they repel an attack by the Geth, a hostile artificial intelligence species, and rescue Systems Alliance soldier Ashley Williams. Saren, a rogue Turian Spectre who orchestrated the attack on Eden Prime, activates the Prothean beacon before escaping the planet. Shepard comes in contact with the beacon and receives a vision of war and death. Shepard reports this back to the Citadel Council, but is unable to convince them of Saren's treason without proof. Soon after, Shepard rescues Tali, a Quarian mechanic who possesses a recording of a conversation between Saren and Matriarch Benezia, where the two discuss their victory on Eden Prime and mentioned an artifact called the Conduit and the return of the Reapers, a highly advanced machine race believed to eradicate organic civilizations every 50,000 years. With this evidence, the Citadel Council revokes Saren's Spectre status and makes Shepard the first human Spectre. Spectres are basically space detectives who are given broad authority to protect the galaxy. Shepard then sets out on his mission to stop Saren and bring him to justice. Along the way, Shepard assembles the rest of his crew and recruits Krogan mercenary Ugnaught Rex, xenoarchaeologist Liara Tassoni, and Citadel security officer Garrus Vakanian. Liara helped Shepard comprehend his vision, and they learned that Sovereign, Saren's ship, possessed unique mind-controlling abilities. The team travels to Noveria, where they track down and defeat Matriarch Benezia, who reveals that both her and Saren have been indoctrinated by Sovereign. Afterward, the Council informs Shepard that a Salarian infiltration unit has discovered Saren's main base on Virmire. Upon their arrival, the team learns that Saren has discovered a cure for the genophage, a disease that caused the Krogan species to become sterile, and he planned to use it to breed a Krogan army. Rex confronts Shepard over whether to destroy it, with the end result in him either being talked down or executed. The team assists the Salarians in planting a bomb within the base and destroying it. Inside the base, Shepard is confronted by Sovereign, who is revealed to be a Reaper. Sovereign revealed that the Reapers remain outside the galaxy, waiting for organic life to discover the mass relays and advance to their peak before returning to harvest them. Once outside the base, Shepard must choose to save either Kaidan or Ashley, who are both pinned down. After blowing the base sky high, Liara pinpoints the Conduit's location, a Prothean world called Elos. On Elos, Shepard learns from a Prothean virtual intelligence that the Citadel, the main hub of the galaxy, is actually a huge mass relay used by the Reapers at the end of each extinction cycle. After the Reapers attacked the Protheans 50,000 years ago, some Prothean scientists were able to hide in stasis for a few hundred years after the Reaper attack was over. They traveled back to the Citadel to disable the backdoor mass relay the Reapers had been using, in an attempt to prevent them from returning and destroying future organic life. Sovereign indoctrinated Saren to activate this mass relay, bringing the Reapers back from their 50,000-year slumber. Shepard and his team traveled back to the Citadel to stop Saren. Saren had already begun his attack on the Citadel, and many of the Citadel's citizens, including the Citadel Council, attempted to flee the attack. Shepard either kills Saren or is able to get through to him, which results in him committing suicide. At this time, Shepard is tasked with choosing to save the Citadel Council at the cost of heavy human casualties, or sacrifice them to allow the Alliance to focus its efforts on Sovereign. Shortly after, Sovereign takes control of Saren's corpse and attacks Shepard. Eventually, Saren is destroyed by Shepard and the Alliance disposes of Sovereign. If the Council was saved, humanity is invited to join them, and if they were killed, humanity becomes the Council's new leader. Regardless, Shepard nominates either Captain David Anderson or Ambassador Donal Udina to the leadership position, while Shepard vows to end the Reaper threat. So in a nutshell, that's the basic premise and plotline from beginning to end of Mass Effect. But I mean, there's a ton of lore and a ton of other storylines and side missions, and you can dive deeper into every character, and the Codex reveals so much about every species and the history of Mass Effect, and you can basically see how things unfolded to where they get to now. And that's the one thing that I love about this game, is there is so much lore and it's all just fantastic. It's like a science fiction fan's wet dream. But this is what really makes this game so good, is the storyline and the options that you choose. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, because the decisions that you make in this game carry over to future games. So if a character dies in Mass Effect 1, he's not going to return, he or she is not going to return in Mass Effect 2. And I remember playing this for the first time years and years ago, and I was just so enthralled with this story, and that did not change when I turned this back on. This story is next to perfect, if not perfect. And for once, this game does a good job of making you actually care about the in-game politics, which seems so boring, but to me it was just super fascinating, the way that things unfolded and the way that the different alien races are kind of like in their hierarchy in the Citadel. It makes you want to learn more about like the history of stuff that happened before the game to see how things unfolded later. Also, having a narrator read the codex to me is, I think, just way easier, because it makes me kind of sit there and listen to it as opposed to have me read it myself. And the narrator's voice, I don't know who the narrator was in this game, but the narrator's voice is spot on. The voice acting was great. I played as male Shepard, not Fem Shep. I do believe that, from what I've heard, that Fem Shep is a better voice acting. Male Shepard, it's not bad, but I think the rest of the cast around him is really what shines for this. And you know, choosing to complete the side quests, choosing to complete side missions just reveals more lore about all the characters. And we get good villains too. Saren is a fantastic villain. It's been a long time since I've played 2 or 3. I mean, I know the Elusive Man is in 2, and I think there's definitely more villains in 2. And 3, I think it's mainly focused on the Reapers, but it's just been so long that I don't really remember who the main antagonist is of those games. But I always remembered Saren, and Saren is great. And I actually was able to charm him so that he committed suicide at the end, as opposed to having to fight him and then having to kill him when he gets possessed, which I thought is a good touch, because it shows that he's actually still somewhat in touch with his mind, and he knows he's being indoctrinated, and he's not exactly, you know, he's conflicted. He's not exactly a bad guy. So now let's get into the gameplay, but I'm going to segue into this by saying that if you're not someone that enjoys game story and you just want to go in and just have like action from start to finish, and you skip cutscenes and you skip dialogue, then this game's not for you, and you're probably not going to have that much fun, because that's where this game really shines, is really in the story and in the dialogue and in the decisions that you make. So the gameplay is kind of slow, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think that when you're kind of fighting like a bunch of villains and you have to kind of like stop the game to choose exactly what ability you want to choose, it does take away a little bit from the game. It's definitely an RPG in its nature, way more RPG than any of the other games in the franchise. And you do spend hours, really, if you want to, you can spend hours upgrading your weapons, upgrading your armor, like what different types of gear complement each companion. So I can understand for someone who's not really into this, they may not get it, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I kind of missed that in the later Mass Effect games, because I don't think you really get to swap out gear like you do in this one in the later games, if I remember correctly. And it's really fun to mess around with your companions and pick like a good team comp for if you're going on a mission against the Geth, you want someone that's, good against machines like Tali or something. And not to mention, I forgot to mention this in storyline, but what a fantastic cast of characters for companions. And it only goes up from here, I think. It puts you in the boots of Commander Shepard, but you really feel like you're about to make a difference. Like when you become a Spectre, you really feel like you're going out there and you're about to make a difference in the galaxy in this game. The game just feels so much bigger than it actually is. And you feel like you have, at least I did, feel like you have this duty that you have to go out and like protect the galaxy because you're a Spectre now. And I just love that feeling when you become the first human Spectre and you're like, all right, let's fucking go. Let's hunt down Saren. Let's do this. And the game throws a lot of tough choices at you. I mean, I do think that both Kaidan and Ashley are two of the weakest characters in the game, but still choosing which one of your squad mates you're going to save, it was a tough decision. Overall, this game, the gameplay, it's not bad, it's just slow. And I know there are a lot of people who can't get on that train, but once you get into Mass Effect 2, once you get into Mass Effect 3, I think the gameplay definitely picks up, and the story is just a solid, awesome foundation for this franchise. So here's where I would normally rank it, but there's no other games to rank it up against. So until Mass Effect 2 comes out, I do remember 2 being my favorite when I played way back in the day. I don't know if that's going to be the case after I finish Mass Effect 2 now. I'm currently starting that playthrough now, and that review will be up once I am done. So check back for that, and then I will have the ranking of Mass Effect 2 up against Mass Effect 1. We'll see where that goes, and then following we'll have 3, and then Andromeda, and then later whenever they release whatever the next one is, that will be out as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Overall, this game, awesome, great rating. I don't really have a rating to give it. I just kind of rank them. So I guess we could give it 9 stars. That seems a little too cliche, but that's what we're gonna do. But anyway, if you enjoy watching me play through entire video game franchises and ranking them along the way, then please head on over to my channel, Trezinator, and it would mean a great deal to me if you give me a subscribe, click the bell to get notifications every time I post a new video, and let me know what you thought about Mass Effect 1 in the comments below. I always do my best to try and read and reply to every comment, especially right now because I only have a handful of people watching these videos. And also, as I said before, it would mean a great deal to me if you could give this video a big thumbs up. And until then, I will see you on my next video. Thanks for watching.